Optimistic that it may wrap up soon.
Some signs of progress in Hollywood's labor dispute today, but thousands of West Coast workers in another field appear headed for picket lines of their own. Good evening. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Greg Lee. Striking actors in Hollywood studios are back at the bargaining table. This sign of progress in Hollywood's months-long labor dispute comes as frustrations in the healthcare industry intensify. Some West Coast Kaiser workers have abandoned negotiations and are already getting a jump start on a strike originally planned to start Wednesday. We begin with Fox 11's Phil Schuman, who has the latest from Hollywood.
Here we go. Another week begins on the picket lines. But on this Monday, a renewed sense of optimism here because the union is once again talking with the Producers Alliance. Today's message from SAG-AFTRA leadership: one day longer, one day stronger, as long as it takes. That's just what actors Patricia Ray and Scott Krinsky wanted to hear.
We mean business. We need to make a living, you know? Not all of us are famous.
Our leadership cannot hand us a bad deal.
That good deal actors are looking for includes an increase in minimum payments, more transparency, and a new structure for residuals, particularly with streaming programs, and restrictions on the use of artificial intelligence.
You know, I think with the WGA getting a good deal, that the actors are really feeling hopeful, feeling optimistic that it may wrap up soon.
Yes, that writer's strike is settled, so late-night TV talk shows are back tonight. In Hollywood, viewers have had their fill of reruns, excited about Jimmy Kimmel's return to his studio on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah, I miss old Jimmy. I miss seeing all the people he has on and his antics on TV. Yeah, he's fun to watch.
He is one of the first ones coming back, and he's pretty amazing. I'm just glad that I happen to be at the right place at the right time. I'm coming from Chicago.
That was Phil Schuman reporting. Well, there are signs of progress in Hollywood. Some West Coast Kaiser workers have already walked off the job. Pharmacy workers in Oregon and Southwest Washington have broken from national contract negotiations. They started their strike yesterday and intend to stay on the picket lines for 21 days. Like other union members threatening to strike, these Kaiser workers say the hospital system has failed to address a staffing crisis that's led to dangerous wait times for patients. They take complaints further, arguing Kaiser has been using unfair labor practices during negotiations.
The unfair labor practices that we're seeing are failing to provide information regarding bargaining and grievances, attempting to directly deal with our members, and attempting to dictate to the union who may serve as its representative.
Kaiser issued a statement on the matter saying, quote, "We feel strongly that their call for a strike is premature and unwarranted." The hospital system told streetroots.org contingency plans should keep inpatient pharmacies open during the strike. Thousands more West Coast Kaiser workers say they're ready to walk off the job Wednesday if they don't make a contract deal. Fox 11's Hal Eisner reports they expect their strike will last 3 days.
I just came to visit a friend.
As visitors to the Kaiser in Woodland Hills were leaving, some knew about the labor unrest among Kaiser workers. Over the weekend, Kaiser union members have been practicing their picketing, marching around their union hall and exercising what to do if they need to do the real thing. What do you think about that?
I feel like everyone needs to be paid more. We need to support our unions more now so than ever.
What do you think, though, about the fact that patients need the hospital? And
we need to pay the people who care for us a reasonable wage.
As someone with a sibling in nursing, I fully support it. I think that nurses are undervalued, underpaid.
So does the SEIU-UHW, the Hospital Workers Union. Renee Saldana is press secretary for them.
Overall, frontline healthcare workers are preparing to go on an unfair labor practice strike because they want patients to be safe and get the care they deserve.
Saldana says the talks up in San Francisco are continuing.
They are bargaining for them right now.
But admits the clock is ticking on a 3-day walkout that could start at 6 a.m. on Wednesday morning. One of the biggest issues is the shortage of available healthcare workers, causing greater workload stress on those working on the Kaiser team. The company's management says, despite the acute shortage of healthcare workers nationally, we have been able to hire more than 50,000 frontline employees in the last 2 years.
What we're hearing from healthcare workers, frontline healthcare workers who are in the facilities every day, is that Kaiser's not moving fast enough. We're hearing about patient waits, long delays for appointments for mammograms, cancer screenings, to see primary care practitioners, to get mental health appointments.
But what about patient care? The union says it did what it was legally and morally bound to do.
We did submit a 10-day advance notice of our intent to go on an unfair labor practice strike so that Kaiser executives would have time to prepare in advance for a work action.
And all Kaiser will say about patient care is that in the case that a strike does begin on October the 4th, we have contingency plans in place to ensure our members continue to receive safe, high-quality care for the duration of the strike.
That was Fox 11's Hal Eisner reporting. Kaiser says its hospitals will remain open if the union members strike. In Portland, Oregon, 8 people overdosed around the same time this morning. Fire officials say the call came in around 10:15 a.m. from the North Park Blocks area. All 8 were given Narcan. 4 of the people were taken to the hospital. Authorities said they were all expected to survive. They believe the drug they took was laced with fentanyl. LaFonza Butler is soon to become the second black woman to represent California in the U.S. Senate. Today, Governor Newsom defending his selection to fill the seat of the late Senator Dianne Feinstein. As KTVU's Ann Rubin tells us, Butler wasn't even registered to vote in California.
It was an appointment that took political pundits by surprise. LaFonza Butler is a former labor leader, a political consultant, and someone who has never held office herself. Now she'll be filling the Senate seat of the late Dianne Feinstein.
She understands organizing's bottom up, not top down. She understands moral authority, as I said, not just formal authority. I mean, she's next level qualified.
Butler tweeted, "No one will ever measure up to the legacy of Senator Dianne Feinstein, but I will do my best to honor her legacy and leadership." Governor Gavin Newsom intended this to be an interim appointment, but won't ask Butler not to run for the seat.
I've got an incredible appointee, and she'll make the decision, and no constraints, no expectations.
Butler will be the only current black female senator. She will also be the first openly LGBTQ+ senator from California.
Could not come at a more important time for our community to have that representation, but also to have a real tried and true fighter.
But with no track record of her own, political experts say it's hard to know what to expect.
He's picked someone he's politically comfortable with, who he believes matches a lot of the demographic characteristics he was looking for in this appointment. But she's not someone who's ever had to be accountable to voters, not someone who's ever had to articulate a record or what she would do. And she's someone who's not even registered to vote in the state of California.
Not registered because she was living in Maryland to run Emily's List, a group dedicated to electing Democratic pro-choice women. But before that, she spent years as a union leader representing nursing home workers in California.
I think to the Senate, she's going to bring that same determination to really fight for the underdog, right? The people who are often not seen. I think she really believes in that. I saw that over more than a decade. And so that's why we were so excited when we got the news.
Butler's swearing-in ceremony is likely to be later this week. Ann Rubin, KTVU Fox 2 News.
Funeral arrangements are now confirmed for the late Senator Dianne Feinstein. Her body was flown back to the Bay Area on Saturday night on board a jet from the Presidential Military Fleet. Senator Feinstein died at her home in Washington, D.C. early Friday morning. She was 90 years old. On Wednesday, Feinstein will lie in state in the rotunda at San Francisco City Hall. The public is invited to pay final respects between 9 o'clock in the morning until 7 that night. KTVU has now learned that the funeral service has been changed from a private event to a public one on the steps of City Hall. The service will begin at 1 o'clock on Thursday afternoon. After the funeral, Senator Feinstein will be buried during a private service for family members.
2.5 months in a coma. I had to learn how to walk again and talk again, just like everything, like a baby.
She started a fight for her life 6 years ago when a gunman opened fire on a concert crowd in Las Vegas. Coming up, her message about survival as she reunites with doctors who helped her along the way. And law enforcement calls it a growing problem, stolen Teslas. What officers found when they busted a Tesla theft ring in Oregon.
What's going on out west? We got some rain up in the Pacific Northwest and in the Intermountain region. We'll take a peek. I'll see you back here with that forecast.
Portland, Oregon police officers say they've busted a Tesla theft ring. They recovered 4 stolen Teslas Saturday night. 2 arrests have been made in the case. Police officers expect to release more details about their investigation soon. They say the theft of Teslas is a growing problem. Southern California-based Rivian is said to be burning through billions of dollars as it works to produce its electric pickup truck. The Wall Street Journal reports Rivian lost about 30.
Keep your head down, go! Keep your head down, go! Run! Get in the truck, get in the truck!
6 years after a mass shooting that killed 60 people in Las Vegas, one of the survivors is being reunited with the people who saved her life. Fox 5's Shauna Khalifi spoke with her about her ongoing recovery and the gratitude she has for her medical team.
Everybody started running, and my husband told me to get down. They're gunshots from the street. He said when they stopped to run. And they stopped, and I got up, and that's it. I don't remember anything.
Giovanna Calzadiaz was one of the first patients to arrive at University Medical Center in the late evening hours of October 1st, 2017. She was shot in the head, and doctors initially thought she wouldn't make it.
I think we got here maybe 10 minutes after the shooting started, and then I didn't see Giovanna until maybe about 2 a.m. And when I saw her, she had a tube in her mouth and bandaged. And the first doctor I spoke to said, "Hey, there's nothing we could do for your wife. You know, she's not going to survive this. It's a non-survivable injury."
But she did survive, making a miraculous recovery.
2.5 months in a coma. I had to learn how to walk again and talk again, just like everything, like a baby. And 6 years later, I'm talking and walking.
On Friday, Giovanna and her husband Frank returned to UMC Trauma Center to thank the doctors and nurses who saved her life.
Last night, he said, "Can you believe we're here?" And laying down in Vegas, watching TV. I was nervous to come, but it's a step forward. We just gotta move forward.
Giovanna and Frank expressed their gratitude for the staff at UMC who cared for more than 100 patients injured in the mass shooting 6 years ago.
We go through this and we think about it almost every day, and it's not that it's a bad thing or that we are, you know, we're depressed or but we're there for one another. We support each other, and we want the lives of everybody that was lost to keep in remembrance.
Keep talking about it, like keep it alive.
That was Fox 5's Shauna Khalifi reporting. Last month, the Clark County Commission approved plans for a permanent memorial to honor lives lost in the shooting. There's no timetable for when its construction will be completed. MGM Resorts International has donated 2 acres near the Strip for the memorial to be built. Stephen Paddock, the man accused of being responsible for the tragedy, shot himself to death in a Las Vegas hotel room the night of the shooting. FEMA and the FCC will test a nationwide emergency alert this coming Wednesday. The test will be conducted at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time, 11:20 a.m. Pacific Time, sending a message to every mobile phone across the country. The nationwide emergency alert test will also be broadcast on TV and radio. FEMA says the purpose is to ensure that these systems remain an effective way of warning the public about emergencies, particularly on the national level. Heavy rain, snow, changing fall colors. You can find it all on the West Coast today. We begin in New Mexico, where heavy rain has created some flash flooding. Images posted to social media show water rushing over a roadway in the city of Hagerman. Storms hitting the state are coming with a mix of rain, high winds, lightning, and hail. We have no reports of damages to homes or businesses. Leaves changing color in Utah put on quite a show this week. Images posted to social media here show how hikers in Spanish Fork Canyon are getting a good look at fall foliage. The person who posted these images described the scene as the, quote, absolute gnarliest fall colors he's ever seen. An aerial view about 100 miles north of that area gives you a sense of the reach of the fall landscape. In California and Arizona, October started with a little snow. California's Mono County has images posted online of new snowfall in the Sierra Nevada mountains. And if you look closely at the upper left side of video from Arizona's San Francisco Mountain, you see a little bit of snow on mountain peaks. Let's bring in KTVU Chief Meteorologist Bill Martin, who's tracking conditions across the West Coast.
Yeah, and you bring up the snow up around the Lake Tahoe area. We're seeing snow right now in the Cascades of Washington and Oregon as you get into this area here. This is a straight up weather system that's moving into the western part of the country, and it's also impacting the Intermountain region. It's a big trough, and so we're seeing scattered showers. We showed you the New Mexico shots. We got scattered showers right now in Seattle and Portland and down towards Salem. We've got the heaviest rain really around the Olympic Peninsula, but this whole system, look at sliding in down towards Boise and Salt Lake City. It'll probably clip the northern part of California as well. And as you go out a little further east, you can see Salt Lake City scattered showers. These are big thunderstorms out in Denver. So significant weather occurring out west, and it's sort of an interesting pattern because it's early, right? This is early fall, and we're looking at a very aggressive weather pattern in the north and in the central Intermountain region. And so this is going to continue for the next 24 hours or so. Temperatures right now reflecting the cloud cover, certainly up north, but like Salt Lake City right now is 52 degrees. As we get into the model, I just ran that whole thing through. This takes us all the way to Thursday, and you go, man, maybe you could have slowed it down. But no, really all I want you to see is look what happens after tomorrow. This ridge of high pressure all the way over Bozeman, all the way down into Denver. That dome of high, that's a big, just picture a salad bowl, upside down, boom, right over Nevada. And it's in the, if you can picture it three-dimensionally, and it's sending everything up over the top. This is a heat event for many folks throughout the western region. So we're going to see some pretty warm temperatures. And of course, concerns for fire danger, although out west, significant rains, higher fuel moistures, things like that are going to certainly help a bunch. So when you look at Seattle today, they got up to 56 degrees was the high, and that's because they had so much scattered shower activity and cloud cover. We'll see you back here, and that's the forecast for the next few days out west.
Phoenix is known for its dry heat, but now its arid conditions are breaking records. The National Weather Service said yesterday that the monsoon season this year is the hottest and driest since the agency started keeping records in 1895. The monsoon season normally runs for about 3 months each year starting in June. Phoenix experienced the hottest July on record and the second hottest August. July set a record with a 31-day streak of highs at or above 110 degrees. One West Coast Ministries rectory looks more like a nightclub than a spiritual center. Coming up, the man behind the building's flashing lights and eye-catching displays explains what he hopes to accomplish with the design. And West Coast Powerball players count down to tonight's drawing worth more than $1 billion. Utah has been investing millions of dollars in cloud seeding. The state is using planes and ground-based cannons to shoot silver iodide into the sky to get more rain out of storms. It can squeeze out up to 15% more precipitation if effective. The science has been around since the 1940s, but Utah has recently ramped up its investments in cloud seeding as the state has been dealing with drought.
One of the things that's very exciting about it now is that the science is advancing. We have new tools to detect and measure the impacts of cloud seeding, and then we have the drought and that need for water.
The researchers say there's little evidence of any environmental hazards, but Utah's Department of Natural Resources warns this will not solve all of the state's water needs. The internet's most prolific Ordain Yourself ministry gets attention these days, more than the spiritual work it's doing. Fox 13's Nikki Torres shows us why people are doing double takes when they pass its Seattle rectory.
In a galaxy of impressive Seattle homes, there is one that can catch your eye from a mile away, literally. This glass and steel structure sits on Harvard Avenue near I-5 northbound lanes. All it takes is one look at its glory to possess every ounce of your attention. Rainbow LED lights, mannequins, astronauts. An eccentric sight, but its creator even more flamboyant from the inside.
There are 4 16-inch JBLs sitting there, and this is a base cabinet.
Meet George Freeman, a former nightclub designer. This home is a product of him.
You don't have to do anything. You only have to press buttons. It shuts itself and opens itself. Bye-bye. How did you get here before me? This house reflects. It's fun. The only thing I know what? Color and lights.
Think of this fortress as a walkway into George's brain.
You often look at the stars and you wonder how far are we from them and how far are they from us? And will we ever meet or will we ever live in the stars?
Onlookers may assume the space themes and disco colors are outlandish, though to George, everything in this home serves a purpose and delivers a message.
We've got to get out of here. And often I talk to people and I have conversations. Why do you have an astronaut? Well, I have an astronaut to remind me that that's the only way we're going to keep our species and get out of here.
But George is just as passionate about inner space as he is with outer space. George is the presiding chaplain and founder of United Lutheran Church, more popularly known for its online ordainship program. This home is the rectory for the monastery, a place to gather and to celebrate.
This house says science is God. Science is God, and we need to use science to solve the problems that we have and chart the road of the future for our species.
But while the ideas and concepts are decidedly new age, with his nightclub background and passion for conservation, George was able to get about half of what's inside secondhand.
That door is from the old Bank of America. The wood tabletop is $200. That's second use. That round circular glass table, we have 2 of those and paid $200 for each one of them. Those were Macy's cosmetic table. Macy's. I love Macy's.
All of George's thoughts and hopes for the world exists within the walls and decor. George says he is a believer in climate change, and he doesn't expect the planet will last forever. But he hopes this house and the ideas inside it will go on and on.
Glass, you can see. Steel, it ain't going to go anywhere. God helps those who help themselves. And I think that we have to do that. We have to help ourselves. We have to realize the predicament that we're in. We have to correct that predicament.
In Seattle, I'm Nikki Torres, Fox 13 News.
For the first time in more than 3 years, millions of people are now paying back their student loans. Payments have been paused since the pandemic. The average monthly payment on a federal student loan is about $210 for an associate's degree, $280 for a bachelor's, and $585 for a master's degree. The Biden administration has created a 12-month grace period for those who miss a payment. The Powerball jackpot has climbed to more than $1 billion for tonight's drawing. At $1.04 billion, it's the second largest jackpot this year, A cash lump sum option will net the winner $478 million. Alaska, Hawaii, Nevada, and Utah are the only West Coast states where you can't buy a Powerball ticket. The deadline to buy a ticket varies by state, drawing in about 30 minutes. Thanks for joining us tonight. You can stay up to date on all of the stories we're covering online. Just go to westcoastwrap.com. Good night, everybody.